So taking a look at markets on this shortened trading day, the Dow and S&P just hit all-time highs and on our pace for another record. Retailers also up with this holiday shopping season underway. So we have Kingsview Asset Management CIO and Fox News contributor Scott Martin joining us here to discuss this. So the markets close in about an hour. This is the last trading day of the month, last trading day of the week. The volume's light, but what are you looking at today?
Fine. Edward, I think I'm going to get into the fervor of being with you and having another record set. And the fact, too, that, look, I mean, Adobe talked about it. You talked about it with Matt Shea in the previous segment there. The consumer is okay, boys and girls. The economy is stronger than people think, than most people give it credit for all year long, except for me, Neil Cavuto, and yourself. So the reality is you need to get on board. You need to catch up to these new highs. You need to catch up to the retail savings and sales that are out there, which I'm going to do, too. Edward, I'm going to go buy Lululemon today. I'm going to go hit a new personal best, I think, at Costco in grocery shopping, and maybe even stop by Canadian Goose. Those are all stocks that we own, by the way, and stocks we love.
Yeah, buying where you shop and where you use.
Hey,
yeah, my
know
wife
it well.
Lululemon. Yeah. So, Scott, we've talked about this in the past, and regardless of what's spent on Black Friday weekend, the consumer is under pressure when it comes to, you look at the record credit card debts that we have, though. Will we see good numbers in the short term for retailers, but would you buy retail stocks long term?
I would, and I think you got to buy the stuff, Edward, to your point. And it's funny to say, is Costco retail? Yeah, it is, because you can probably get anything under the sun or anything you ever desired there. But look at Lululemon and Canada Goose. I mean, those are two companies that are actually absolutely smashed. I mean, Lululemon, to use a point, has been squeezed, believe me, on their profits, but they're actually coming back strong. So I think it depends on where you go in retail, not necessarily everywhere, but know where you shop, know what you're getting, know where the deals are, and look at like profit margins, look at net income beneficials of what they have and what they're selling, and you can get certain deals in retail, not just in the stores themselves, but in the stocks too.
So is this about consumers managing their debt, or do you think they're actually getting ahead with, are we going to see that debt, that record debt decrease for credit cards next year?
I think record debt's actually going to go up, much like it is for the government. But debt makes the world go around. And so it's okay if you have debt as long as you service the debt. Now, I know, Edward, a lot of the stats out there say consumers are behind, debt levels are at records. The problem is because we have more consumers out there that are getting debt, that are getting debt extended to them, that we're getting more credit cards. So that number will go up. It's the servicing of the debt that needs to happen. Interest rates have come down quite a bit over the last couple of years, starting to inch up a little bit back. But we talked about, striking down the credit card interest rates and things like that. So as long as those things improve over time and the consumer will get stronger as the economy gets stronger, I think things are going to be okay.
So I want to pick your brain on Bitcoin and just look at this chart. It's soaring again today, inching back to that 100,000 100,000 per coin. Why the volatility over just the last week?
Well, there's a lot of folks that are chasing this thing, and there's a lot of folks that are betting against it. There's a lot of people out there that are doing the do-si-do with Bitcoin. They're buying it at 90,000 and then selling it at 95 and then buying it again at 98 and selling it at 100,000. So there's a lot of players now in Bitcoin, Edward, which drives up the volatility. But I don't think Bitcoin is going to be, say, the biddy situation that I thought it was going to be, some time ago, because there's a lot of buyers into Bitcoin now. There's a finite supply with a lot of demand behind it. And we're talking about retail here as well earlier. Think about things when they're on sale, when they're out there and everybody wants them. Guess what? The price goes up because of demand. I think the same thing happens with Bitcoin here.
And in the last 15 seconds we have, is this the ceiling for Bitcoin? Do you think that 100,000, or is that a threshold to pass?
I think it's the ceiling for today. I think that ceiling gets busted through next week, and then maybe 125, 150, maybe higher numbers after that. If demand comes in and supports those prices, to the sky we go.
Is it the retail investors are coming back into this crypto, or is it institutional investors that's sort of driving this?
It's both. And now, Edward, you have all these ETFs that are out there now, so you're not just having to buy it on the exchanges. You can buy it in ETFs in brokerage accounts. We have some at our firm and our clients' accounts. We can buy the ETFs that actually have approaches to the Bitcoin price, to the actual spot price, not the futures, which is what you had to do before when it came out, when some of those exchanges came out. So now you have a direct exposure to Bitcoin. So as a retail investor, you get a lot more exposure than you can just other than the institutions that were doing it before.
So should everything stand the way it is, the Dow and the S&P could hit new records today if it closes. Should this stand? Do you expect that to be a trend over the next, say, 6 months, 8 months, or is this a top? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, fits and starts, though. I mean, just like anything, there's a lot of volatility out there because everybody's super excited. Everybody's kind of jumping in, then jumping out, and everybody gets really excited, and so the bloom comes off the rose. But I think you're going to see a lot more ups than downs, but there are going to be some air pockets because, let's face it, the market is high. There's a lot of expectations out there, but overall, I think we're in a good trend, especially with the new administration coming in here in a couple months.
Yeah, good trend. Retailers certainly feel happy, it seems, at least up 8.8% so far in online sales. Scott Martin, I appreciate it. Thank you for your help.
See ya.